After a very successful homestand where they won 4 of the 6 games played, the Blue Jays hit the road once again and get this, 56 games into the season, finally get to visit the Baltimore Orioles. So let's send you off to Oriole Park where Dan Shulman is with longtime ex-Oriole catcher Caleb Joseph. Gentlemen, take it away.
Jamie, thank you very much. As you say, the first time the Blue Jays and Orioles will see one another, but because Caleb, this is 2026, and the Blue Jays are going through it on the health front. Some new faces, some roster moves again here today.
The roster is continuing to churn for the Toronto Blue Jays, hopefully to get some of these regulars back, but it's a couple newbies in for the Blue Jays. Connor Siebel was in spring training with the Blue Jays, showed really well, took an out, went to Detroit, is back. The velocity is up for him. He's really inducing quite a bit of swing and miss. Blue Jays love that. He could potentially go 2 innings for them. And then there's McAdoo. McAdoo has a lot of power, 8 home runs down at spring training. He's going to be able to provide a little bit of speed as well on the bases, 7 stolen bases. And they have loved how he has shrunk the zone and really tightened up his plate and strike zone awareness. He does have that good thump to the middle of the field, and I love that he is able to really provide a spark. Look for him to get a couple spot starts here and there. Maybe not a regular, but maybe a spot start here and there.
Not starting tonight, could pinch hit, could start, should start against lefties, but it's not a lefty, but it is a familiar face. Chris Bassitt is on the mound, Jamie, for the Orioles tonight.
Yes, indeed, Dan. Thank you. The Orioles just swept Tampa Bay, so they're feeling good about themselves as the Blue Jays get set for the first of 4 tonight at Oriole Park, Camden Yards. We'll have the first pitch on Sportsnet after this.
You're going.
So, tell me what you want, what you really want.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really want.
Yo! Subway's new wannabe spicy menu. From mild to wicked. All freshly prepared on new ghost pepper bread. How spicy do you want to be?
Every Sunday night, he can't sleep. But not this Sunday.
When you really need to sleep, ZzzQuil has no equal. Sleep soundly so you can wake refreshed. ZzzQuil, not for colds, just for sleep. Really sound sleep.
Enjoy your life without a screen.
Welcome to Rogers Blue Jays Baseball on Sportsnet, and welcome to an absolutely perfect May evening for a baseball game. The weather's supposed to be great for the next 4 days. The Blue Jays are here in Baltimore, as we mentioned, the first time they are meeting the Orioles. In fact, 7 of their next 10 are going to be against the Baltimore Orioles. John Schneider's team has kind of quietly won 6 of its last 8 games. They are back within 2 games of the 500 mark, and here is the lineup tonight, including Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who in 48 games here at Camden Yards has had a whole lot of fun over the years. Hopefully he can have that kind of fun over the next 4. You see Nathan Lucas in the 2 spot, alternating righties and lefties up and down the lineup with a switch hitter Brandon Valenzuela hitting 9th. And again, just about every one of these guys was a teammate last year of Chris Bassitt.
Well, the mad scientist is on the mound. He's just in orange and white this time. Slow start for Bassitt. 4-3 this year, 5.51 earned run average. Remember, he had a great playoff run for the Blue Jays, 8 2/3 innings pitched, only 1 run allowed. He's got all of the kitchen sink, and he's going to use it against the Blue Jays. He might even make up a pitch or 2 while he's out there. I'm interested to see the mind games that will be played between Chris Bassitt and his former teammates in the Blue Jays, because there's going to be a lot of thinking out there on the mound for Chris Bassitt.
I'm sure Bassitt is glad to start on the first day, because then he can go be buddies with his buddies after that. Let's see if George Springer gives him a little wink or a nod. First, he's going to greet Adley Rutschman, looking out to Bassitt. You know, Bassett's not going to do anything. He's going to totally have the game face on.
He's trying. George is trying.
George is looking at him, but thought we might get a little. Oh, there it is. Did you see it? Did you see it? Attaboy, George.
I did. Well done.
Now I can tell the story. George said, "I'll give you something. I'm gonna do something to him before the game," and that was it. He waited till the last second when Bassitt had to be staring in. That is good stuff by George. I don't know if Bassitt found it fun. In there at the knees, and he's out in front of Springer, 0-2. I wonder if anybody else will. I think George might have been the one. Like, he's your pick to click for something like that.
Sure.
And I beg your pardon, 1-1 is now Springer hits the ball to center field. He's tagged it well, but it's right at Leody Taveras for out number 1. So Bassett making his 11th appearance, his 9th start. He's had an opener in front of him a couple of times this year. He brings a .551 ERA into this outing. He's had some good ones. He's had 2 starts of 6 innings, giving up 1 run. He's had a 5-inning scoreless start. Home runs have not really been a problem for him. It's just a lot of hits. They're hitting .311 off him on the season. And as is usually the case, Caleb, with Bassett, the lefties are hitting him harder than the righties.
Yep, trying to get on the inner rail to them quite often. And if you leave that slider or cutter that backs up, it's usually a good pitch for lefties to hit.
Oh, 1 to Nathan Lucas. A little looper to shallow left center, and it's down for a base hit.
Well, let's take a look at the defense behind Bassett today for the Orioles. From left to right in the outfield, Blaze Alexander, Leody Taveras, and Canadian Tyler O'Neill is in right field. Rounding out the infield, Mayo, Henderson, Holiday, Pete Alonso. First year with the Orioles, coming over from the New York Mets, and Adley Rutschman behind the plate.
Here's Guerrero with 1 on and 1 out. I suppose Vladdy might be a decent candidate to wink or nod or something out at Bassett as well. Vladdy at .293 on the season. In his last 5 games, he's been on base 12 of the 19 times he's come to the plate. 6 hits, all of them singles, mind you, and 6 walks. Has always hit well here. Just low, and it is 2-0 now on Guerrero. Bassett signing a 1-year deal in the offseason, $18.5 million for Bassett to come here after spending 3 years being such a mainstay in the Blue Jay rotation. And then out of the bullpen of the postseason last year, right? Finished the year on the IL. Guerrero with a high fly ball, but it's not deep at all. Left center field. Taveras is there, and he'll make the catch. 2 down. Bassett pitched over and over and over again out of the bullpen in both the ALCS and the World Series. Made 7 appearances and only gave up 1 run in those 7 appearances. That came in Game 7 of the World Series. But there are the career numbers, the regular season numbers for Bassett. 96 appearances, 95 of them starts over the 3 years. Here's Dalton Varsho. And that's in there at the knees for a called strike. Varsho in the cleanup spot, hitting .265, 5 homers. Lucas the lead, and Varsho has popped it up third base side. Foul but playable for Kobe Mayo. And Bassett gives up a base hit, but nothing more to the Blue Jays in the top of the first. Bottom of the first, and a look at the Orioles lineup tonight. They've been swinging the bat well lately. They just swept the Tampa Bay Rays, and Pete Alonso has seen a lot of Patrick Corbin over the years. Mets and Nationals, Mets and Diamondbacks, and Alonso's had all kind of success against Corbin. Got to be wary of him. Obviously, a lot of power too for guys like Taylor Ward, Gunnar Henderson. Again, it overall hasn't been a great year for the Orioles, but much better lately. Speaking of better lately, the last start for Patrick Corbin is best of the season.
Yeah, 6 innings of 1-run ball, 5 hits allowed versus the Pirates induced 15 whiffs. That's a big number for Corbin. Usually going to pitch to contact. Changeup has been a really big pitch for him, and the slider had a lot of really good depth. It'll be interesting to see how he responds here at Oriole Park. Career-wise, not been very good. See if he can kind of flip the script on that tonight.
Taylor Ward is DHing and leading off for the Orioles. They got him in an off-season deal from the Angels. One of a number of kind of high-profile moves the Orioles made in the off-season. Ward hit 36 home runs a year ago for the Angels. But as you just saw, he's only got 2 here this year. One thing he is doing a ton of, though, is walking. He is third in the majors, having drawn 48 walks already, and has an on-base percentage close to 400. Fouls this one off, and it's 1-2. Bounces that one in to his catcher Brandon Valenzuela. 2-2. The changeup, as you mentioned, has been a very important pitch this year against right-handed batters. A new grip, something he told me a couple of weeks ago, still getting comfortable with, but comfortable enough to throw it a lot to righties, and with good success. Here's a liner into center, though, off the bat of Ward, and he's aboard with a leadoff single.
Let's take a look. The defense for the Jays behind Corbin. Nathan Lucas makes his 5th start in left field, as you saw right there. Varsho in center, Sanchez in right, rounding out the infield. A very similar look for the Jays. Okamoto, Jimenez, Clement, Guerrero Jr., Brandon Valenzuela making his 29th start behind the plate.
Here's Gunnar Henderson. 0 for 10 in his career against Corbin. Shows bunt and takes a fastball in for a strike. Henderson is hitting for power. He's got 13 homers, including 2 yesterday, but he is only hitting .222. He was the Rookie of the Year 3 years ago, an All-Star 2 years ago. Didn't have a great season last year, dealt with some injuries early. The numbers were down, and they're down even further this year. But as you can see, maybe he's starting to get his feel, his rhythm back. He is heating up. And I've always thought this guy could go on to win an MVP one day.
Well, if you're on the cover of a video game, kind of a can't-miss type of player. Had his first multi-homer game yesterday, or last evening I should say, against the Rays. Seems like when he gets hot, he can start getting after it in bunches as well. And when he starts using that left center gap, that's when you know he's really locked in.
The lead by Ward, and it's 2-1 on Henderson. Pulled foul. Now 2-2. Baltimore is 26-30 on the season. That's a game back of the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are in 3rd in the East, 8.5 behind the Rays. The Orioles are in 4th, 9.5 back. Craig Albertaz, their manager, the former bench coach of the Cleveland Guardians, took over in the offseason. They, like the Blue Jays, have dealt with a ton of injuries. They, like the Blue Jays, are starting to play better. Feels like a fair fight between two teams who still feel and still hope there's plenty of time left for them to turn it around and get it going in the right direction.
And rosters that are built for it. Not hoping that it could potentially happen. You just think if they get healthy, they could do it.
Ground ball to the left side. Up into the chest of Okamoto, and then the tag at third, I believe. Where's the signal? There it is. They do get an out at third on a crazy play where Okamoto was hoping to start a double play, but then a little bit over aggressive from Ward, and he is out at third base. And now Albertaz is out of the dugout, and maybe he's wondering if there was some obstruction at the bag.
Yeah, that's a very odd play. The throw from Jimenez. Okamoto essentially drops it. Very delayed call from crew chief Todd Tichenor at third. Here's the play, kind of eats him up a little bit.
Challenging the out call at third base.
So
watch this throw come in right here. He bobbles it. He does not have control of the ball.
He doesn't have it. The ball wasn't in his glove. That's what they're challenging. He never caught the ball.
Correct. It's going to tip right off the glove right here. You can see
he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it.
No.
It's not in his glove.
His foot. Yeah. So this will get overturned. Obviously.
There it is right there.
Yeah. The Todd Tichenor was blocked.
And there's no call from Tichenor right away. No. It's very, very late. Very late. Tichenor's trying to find it. Then he calls him out.
So this is a huge play. Instead of definitely 1, maybe 2, they don't get anybody, and it's going to be 2nd and 3rd. Everybody can see on the scoreboard here that Okamoto did not have the ball in his glove. I'm not sure, quite frankly, I'm not sure what's taken so long on this one. He never had the ball. So he tags him, but without the ball in the glove.
The only only thing I can think of is there's no out or safe call. Maybe Ward comes off the base as someone grabs the ball and then tags him. No call, no call, no call. Could it have been in between, if that makes any sense, as he was getting up to dust himself off?
Let's see if we can run that back and take it a little bit longer. You might be right that I think that Ward assumed he was out. This is what you're saying. Maybe he assumed he was out, gets off the bag. No, he's got his foot on the bag the whole time.
Yeah,
and he never touched him.
Oh, well.
But the call's already been made. Well, that's, yeah. The call's been made, but the ball's still live, but I don't know if anybody ever tagged him.
I mean, I should know what's going on. This is what happens every day as an 11-year-old.
Overturned, runner safe. Baltimore retains their challenge.
Very matter-of-fact announcement there from Titchener. So, boy, what a bad way to get things going here in the bottom of the first. It is second and third, nobody out. A hop that maybe came up a little bit on Okamoto and surprised him. He never got a glove on it. It hit him in the chest. And so now the Orioles with a glorious opportunity to take the lead here in the bottom of the first. It is scored a fielder's choice and then E5. And here's Adley Rutschman, the catcher, batting from the right side against Corbin. Guerrero's even with the bag. The rest of the infielders backed up for the Blue Jays. And here's a liner to short. And they can't double up anybody, but Jimenez does make the catch for the first out. But now you got to deal with Alonso. And we talked about the huge numbers that Alonso has off Corbin, 365, 5 homers. About as proven a run producer over the last 7-8 years as there is in the game. The average year for Alonso is about 40 and 100, like year after year. And I know it's the first inning, but there's a base open here. Are you careful?
100%. I'm treading very lightly here. And Corbin's the guy to do it. He's the veteran. He knows the history. I guarantee you before the game, he watched all of those at-bats versus Alonso, knowing what he was looking for, what he went on, what he would chase and wouldn't chase on. This is the old pitch around right here. If he chases, great. If not, send him to first.
Ground ball foul up the third baseline. That was a slider after a couple of changeups to start the at-bat, and now it's 2-1. With one out, and I didn't look at Ward in that moment to tell if the contact play is on. Usually with one out it is, and a guy like Ward would be coming home on any ground ball. In there for a called strike, and it's 2-2. A changeup right around the outside corner at the knees. Alonso doesn't challenge it. Well, now are you past the pitch around center? Now you got 2 strikes on him, right?
You got one chance. If it gets to 3-2, go around, but for me, it's if you have great command of it, you feel good with it in the bullpen, and it matches up with his weakness. Otherwise, stay away.
The 2-2. Fastball, and he gets him swinging for out number 2.
Well, he took Alonso's eyes underneath the entire at-bat, but then sneak attacks him with a high sinker up and away. And Alonso likes that ball wrinkling down into him, close to him. That's a very smart pitch right there. A very strategic pitch that was well executed and got a perfect result.
So 2 outs. The runners still at second and third. And here's Kobe Mayo, the third baseman. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Mayo hitting just 195 on the season. At one point considered one of the Orioles' top prospects back when their farm system was considered one of the deepest in the game. He's got a lot of power. He can hit it hard, he can hit it far, but a lot of swing and miss as well. Corbin out in front, 0-2.
Yeah, Mayo's got a considerable amount of chase underneath short as well. Look for him to bury some breaking stuff underneath right here.
0-2. Tried to. A slider down and in, but Mayo wouldn't chase. Ball 1. A base hit, then an error, then a couple of outs. And now the 1-2 pitch down in the dirt. Ball 2. Kind of a stressful bottom of the first for Pete Walker as he's looking on the way this one has developed. 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. What a job by Patrick Corbin. Second and third, nobody out of the bottom of the first. He gets Rutschman on a line out, strikes out Alonso, strikes out Mayo, and the Orioles don't score.
This spike looking good.
Well, it was 1 year ago yesterday that Charles McAdoo came off a 2-week stint on the minor league development list, reworking his swing at the Blue Jays hitting lab in Dunedin, Florida. He has always had a lot of swing and miss to his game, but it really got out of control early last season. But once he came off the development list after that work, finished the year strong, then went to AAA and put up some of these numbers. Look at some of the differences here. The contact rate up nearly 10%, the strikeout rate down, the walk rate up. He's being more selective too, cutting back his swing and miss dramatically. This is not typically how it goes for young players as they advance minor league levels. Now, McAdoo has sacrificed some of his top-end exit velocity in order to make the adjustment, but Dan, the Blue Jays feel like he's a better all-around hitter for it.
And the numbers bear that out. He's also got some speed. He stole 34 bases last year in the minors and has 7 so far this year with Buffalo. If you're wondering where he came from, the Blue Jays got him at a deadline deal in 2024 for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. As Kazuma Okamoto leads off the top of the second with a ground ball to short. McAdoo saw a lot of time with the Blue Jays in spring training. Remember, every infielder they had was at the World Baseball Classic. He can play third. He can play first. He's also played a little bit of second recently, but in the spring played the corners. So John Schneider got a long look at him. McAdoo appeared in 19 spring training games with the Blue Jays, and it's expected, you know, he's not starting tonight against a righty. He can pinch hit late in a game for a left-handed hitter with a lefty on the mound. Could get some starts against left-handed pitchers, and there will be one on the mound tomorrow for the Orioles and Trevor Rogers. But an interesting guy. Lenyn Sosa goes on the IL with the right wrist injury after the hit by pitch, and McAdoo looks like it's at least 10 days to see what he can do up here.
Never hurts to be in front of your manager as a young minor leaguer over and over and over, and sometimes you do certain things that catches their attention. I'm sure Pinango did the same thing in spring training. Starting to see some of those fruits of those labors come to fruition.
Here's Jesus Sanchez, who has really been swinging a good bat lately, hitting the ball hard, hitting for power. You remember the grand slam. Comes into the game with the highest OPS on the team at 776. Curveball from Bassett is in there for a strike, 1-2. Sanchez didn't love it. Did not challenge it, but didn't love it. But how many times have we seen Bassett flip breaking balls in there over the outside corner? Out in front, 1-2. Up and away, 2-2. Bassett a little frustrated, and we've always seen Chris express himself on the mound whenever something is going on. He doesn't hide that. Last faced the Blue Jays in 2021 when he was with the A's. Tried to run the two-seamer back in over the inside corner, and Caleb, he didn't miss by much.
No, he didn't, and that's kind of his MO. He wants to take the left-handed hitter's eyes to the lower outer half and then try and cut it or sink it on the inner lane. He's going to play all different parts of the zone. He's got to use all those different tools and weapons in his toolbox.
A bouncer weakly hit towards third. Sanchez down the line, and he beats it out for an infield hit.
Well, Mayo was shifted over just a little bit, and that kind of made this play a lot more difficult as Sanchez gets out of the box pretty good. Good exchange by Mayo, good quick exchange, and Sanchez just flat out beat it out. With 2 strikes, you're just trying to make contact. It gets in on him a little bit, but he's rewarded for contact.
Nice job by Mayo, but Sanchez beats it out for a 1-out single, and here's Ernie Clement. That's low for a ball. Ball 1 on Clement, hitting .294. Looking down to Carlos Fablis. Mayo even with a bag at third. Bassett was not only a big part of the staff, he was a big part of the kind of the leadership group of the team over his 3 years in Toronto. Some guys are vocal leaders, some guys are lead by example guys. Bassett's both, I think. I mean, he's vocal, but he also leads by example the way he puts his work in. You saw Kevin Gausman, who's a very good friend of Bassett's, looking on. Bassett and Max Scherzer very close as well. Sanchez is running as Clement lifts a fly ball to very shallow left field. The catch is made for the 2nd out. That had to be a hit and run. That was not a stolen base jump there by Jesus Sanchez, right?
And you could tell the way that Ernie swung at it, it was kind of a defensive type of swing. Manager John Schneider really trying to pull some strings right out the gate. You think in that count, you're probably going to get something hard maybe on the outer half, looking for a double play. Maybe he's trying to prevent against that.
So Sanchez back to first, 2 down. And here's Andres Jimenez hitting .222. He appealed to third, and yes, he did. It's 0-1. Advantage hitter or advantage pitcher when you've been teammates with a guy?
You know, to be honest with you, I think it's probably advantage hitter at this point, just because there's nothing truly overpowering about Chris. It's just more about the mindset and trying to eliminate certain halves of the plate. And they know how he thinks. And so manager John Schneider was talking about that before the game to us. I hope he overthinks it, right. Meaning I hope he thinks this pitch and then reverses to that pitch and then circles back to this pitch, and he ends up right where we're thinking, all the way completing the circle. And so, you know, when you face Chris Bassett, you got to eliminate a speed and a half of the plate to really try and barrel him. So see if they can execute their game plan.
Runner is going. The throw down is in time. And Sanchez is thrown out by Rutschman, and that will end the top of the 2nd inning. One more look going to break. As Sanchez took off, it was ball 1 high. Good pitch for Rutschman to throw down on, and they get him fairly easily. Well, Patrick Corbin has had a nice, long, big league career. One of the pitches that has served him well over the years has been his slider. So, Caleb, we went digging and looked for the absolute best slider that Patrick Corbin has ever thrown. The one that a hitter had absolutely no chance at making contact with. And this is what the archives turned up.
I mean, look at the shadows. How is anyone supposed to hit in those?
That is Caleb's one and only at bat against Patrick Corbin. If you want to blame anybody, blame this guy right here.
I'll tell you, if you go back in the archives, you can find just about every pitcher that I ever faced that has that same result. Same result.
Stick around. We got a lot more games to do.
That was a good one. That was downer. Yeah. He had really good action on that pitch. I mean, hats off to him. Hats off to him.
I think he changed. I went through the at bat as Leody Taveras goes after the first pitch, and he pops it up for Okamoto. I think, can you remember are you one of these guys who can remember the sequence of every at-bat that you've ever had, or this is years ago?
Only on the good outcomes, Dan.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm sure, I mean, he was throwing pretty hard, I think, back then. I think it was 94, 95. I think he came in a couple times, and then that opened me right up.
I think it was slider, fastball, slider, I believe. So changed your eye level and then went back and buried you.
Respected me. Only one heater.
Here's Tyler O'Neill, the Burnaby, BC native, who was off to a very tough start, hitting just a .161. And one of the big reasons they got him is in the past, he has pummeled lefties. 2 years ago, had a big year for the Red Sox. The Orioles signed him prior to last year. This is the 2nd year of a 3-year deal. But he's just 4 for 43 against lefties this year. was on the concussion IL a little bit earlier. He's had so many stints on the IL for so many things over the years, but they just haven't been able to get this bat going. And one of the reasons why the Orioles as a team, they have not hit lefties nearly as well as they've hit righties this year. And obviously a proven guy who has had a lot of very good years in the big leagues. 2-2 from Corbin, and a ground ball pulled down to third, scooped up by Okamoto. 2 down.
Well, Okamoto gets another chance at it right out the gate. Really good move to kind of drop step, go back towards left center field on the ball off of the bat of O'Neill. Watch a good, strong, accurate throw. One thing I've noticed about Okamoto, his accuracy once he throws the baseball, gets his feet set, and he's always hitting Vladdy right in the chest.
So 2 down. Here's Jackson Holliday down to a knee on that foul ball, and he's going to have to walk that off. It has been a tough go for Holliday, who fractured his hamate bone at the base of his right hand back in the spring, and he missed about the first 6 weeks of the season, and got that one right off the inside of the right shin, it looked like.
Oh,
as is often the case, just missing the guard. Holliday had a couple of setbacks too while rehabbing from the hamate injury, so it took a little bit longer than he or the Orioles would have liked. This guy was a 1-1 pick, first overall a few years back. Still so young, but just getting started this year. And a good breaking ball from Corbin to get him to chase. The tag applied by Valenzuela. And what a nice bottom of the second for Patrick Corbin. 3 up, 3 down, finishes it off with a K. Are you a Rogers customer? It's Canada's winning inning. This inning, when the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win big with Rogers Beyond the Seat. First game of 4 here at Camden Yards in Baltimore. The Blue Jays and the Orioles. Got a little Junior J. Might be a future Junior J. Could be a Junior Oriole too. No score, top 3. Chris Bassett on the mound. Has looked good so far. He'll face Andres Jimenez again. He was facing Jimenez when Jesus Sanchez was thrown out trying to steal. That ended the top of the second. And this one is hit in the air to deep right field. It is on its way to the seats and gone. Number 6 for Andres Jimenez, and the Blue Jays have the lead.
Wondered if this was going to be a good matchup for Jimenez, if he might try and go pull side, knowing that Bassett likes to come on the inner lane to lefties, and knowing that the ball likes to fly out to right center field here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. He gets a slow hanger and just meets it out front with perfect balance. Great swing by Jimenez.
Boy, 412 feet. That is no joke. He timed that curveball perfectly and gives the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. Here's Brandon Valenzuela. First pitch swinging, ground ball up the middle. Holliday the play for out number 1.
There's Jimenez taking off that jack. Let's take another look at the pitch. Right down Broadway, and he just clips it out in front. Look at the balance. Something I've always admired about Jimenez. When he is balanced and he gets that bat head running right through the zone, it's a thing of absolute beauty. And that's a very effortless type of swing that travels that far, Dan.
Here's George Springer. And it looked like Jimenez recognized it was a breaking ball, recognized a curveball, and that he almost slowed his upper half, like he didn't get way out in front of it. Somehow he managed to keep his weight back and get into that swing the way he wanted to.
The ability to stop and kind of sink into the legs while keeping the hands back, that is something that is really, really difficult to do. Bassett uses that curveball to try and get you off of the backside. Jimenez just kind of sunk into the legs and then let the bat head whip through that zone. Most guys, they travel with the hands and the body at the same time. That's when you get the weak rollover, but he held his hands back and was able to really recognize that pitch perfectly.
Springer went around there on a pitch running in on his hands, and it is 1-2. George lined out to center in the first. He's now 5 for 18 in his career against Bassett, including a couple of home runs. As Jimenez and Sanchez and Pinango continue to look at that home run swing from Jimenez. Springer stays alive by just getting a piece of the breaking ball. Fifth team for Bassett: White Sox, A's, Mets, Blue Jays, and now Orioles. And he gets Springer, and Springer can't help but smile after that one.
Well, he doubles up on the slow breaker. It was the curveball. Now it's the slow sweeper. And this is the type of swing he was trying to induce with Jimenez. See how Springer's front hip just totally flies out. That's what Blue Jays fans saw quite often when Bassett would yo-yo hitters back and forth. He'll rush that two-seamer in to push you off of it, then use those slow breaking balls to try and get you off balance.
And that curveball, as you just saw, has been a good pitch for him again this year. Here's Nathan Lucas, who looped one into left center for a base hit in the first. So should we expect Springer, Lucas, Guerrero to be kind of the usual top three against righties going forward?
I love it. I love the traditional lefty in the two-hole. I love the at-bat, the professional type of at-bat you get from Nathan Lucas. So trustworthy in that spot. Knows his role, knows when to get a guy over, knows how to handle the bat. The stability of a player like this in a lineup that has been shuffling back and forth, it's so underrated. It starts to allow people to set into certain spots lower in the order that allow their true talents to come out.
Down and in, 2 balls and a strike. John Schneider having to write out a different lineup basically every day as guys have moved in and out of the lineup, on and off the roster. He would love to get everybody healthy at some point. That's a little bit high, and it's 3-1. That was Bassett. You could see gesturing a little bit there, asking Tyler Jones, the home plate umpire, was it up? Was it out? Where was it? Looked like it was a little bit of both, but just a little bit. Swing and a miss, 3-2. Orioles catchers, by the way, Caleb, have challenged less often than any other group of catchers in the major leagues. So just something to keep an eye on as this series begins. And a foul off. Still 3-2 on Lucas. The Jimenez home run, the first run of the ball game tonight. Again, the 3-2 from Bassett. And this one is up in the air to right center, but not deep. O'Neill is there, and that will retire the side. But one more look going to break, and a very pretty swing from Andres Jimenez. Home run number 6 on the season, and the Blue Jays lead 1-0. Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using code STRIKEOUT. And Corbin's got 3 strikeouts already, and 2 of them came with runners at second and third in the first inning. He got out of quite a jam after a base hit and then an Okamoto error. Made it second and third, nobody out. Corbin pitched out of that, and then had a 3-up, 3-down second. Now the number 9 hitter, Blaze Alexander, who has popped it up on the infield. Both Guerrero and Clement are there, and it'll be Clement with Vladdy just kind of keeping watch from close by, as he always does. One down.
Look at him.
This is their little bit. Vladdy pretends to be angry that Ernie doesn't let him catch the ball. Ernie tries to pretend to be serious, doesn't want Vladdy to see that he's cracking him up. Yeah, enough, enough.
Entertainers.
Boys will be boys. Back to the top of the order for Taylor Ward, who had a base hit off Corbin in the first. And a ground ball, a diving stop. Jimenez to his feet. Get him! He throws him out at first. What a play by Andres Jimenez. And we'll see if the Orioles want to have a look. They will not. That is an outstanding play by Andres Jimenez to get him.
Well, Andres has got to get fully extended to get this ball off the bat of Taylor Ward. Check it out right here. Full extension. And he slides on that little dewy grass here in Baltimore. Is able to get to his feet quickly. Look at him slide and then just whip that lead leg around. Good strong throw. Great stretch on the back end by Vladdy. Getting his socks turned around. Big league play right there.
2 down. And it's a ball and a strike on Gunnar Henderson, who hit that ball to Okamoto that came up, hit him in the chest, and led to the air. And he hits a ground ball right at Clement. And once again, Patrick Corbin makes quick work of the Orioles. Some very good pitching tonight, and on this play, some very good defense. Jimenez finds it, throws it, and gets him. Well, we just saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. having some fun with Ernie Clement. As everybody knows, Guerrero likes to have fun at every opportunity. And after the win yesterday, we saw a little bit of this. Time for high fives. Vladdy turns his cap around. He says, "Hey, Kaz, turn your cap around. Like, you've been here long enough. Turn your cap around when we high five." And then Tyler Rogers, "Turn your cap around." Sorry, Vlad. And Vlad's in charge of all of that stuff. And when Vlad says, "Hey, this is how it's done," that's how it's done.
Possibly the two most unsuspecting guys to wear their hats around backwards too, right? The two quieter, just very kind of straight lines type of guys. Oh, you got to love 27.
1-0 Blue Jays, top 4 on the Andres Jimenez home run. And here is Guerrero to lead it off. Hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Just down and in. Ball 1. Guerrero, Varsho, and Okamoto here against Bassett in the 4th. And a bouncer to the left side from the outfield grass. Henderson will unload and get him. 1 down. It's a big shortstop with a big arm. Now Dalton Varsho, who popped up to the third baseman Mayo in foul territory in the first. Another close miss from Bassett, and it's ball 1. You know, I would think, Caleb, if you're a left-handed batter, whether you're home or away, doesn't matter, playing here at Camden Yards, that right field wall has to look like it is so close. It's 318 down the line. It's not the closest in baseball. There are closer than that. But it just looks like it's looking right at you from right behind the second baseman sometimes.
Remember catching against David Ortiz, and it seemed like when he was at Fenway, he was trying to go to left center, but then when he came to Camden Yards, he was always trying to pull the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if Varsho was really thinking pull side, and to counter that, Bassett played keep away the rest of the at-bat. A lot of backdoor breakers like that, sinkers down and away. Keep away from the lefties, and then every once in a while try and front hip a two-seamer or run a cutter in there. Especially if you don't have velocity, keep away is a good approach in this ballpark.
A bouncer to second, backs up Holiday, and he'll throw out Varsho by a step for the second out. They made the park a little bit better for pitchers, and they've compromised. They went back, then came in a little bit from where they were, but out in left field, you can see how from left center to the left field foul pole, it kind of juts out. It didn't used to be that way. So right now, it's a harder ballpark to hit a home run if you're a right-hander.
Yes. I would have lost 97% of my homers if I would have played in this configuration. I was like 320 right down the line.
Here's Okamoto, who hit a home run to right center yesterday at Rogers Center, his 11th of the season.
Which is a great sign for Okamoto, the ability to wait back, rotate through, push that ball to right center field.
And right now he is a target, and obviously no intent there from Bassett with the breaking ball. But Okamoto has now been hit by a pitch in 3 consecutive games.
Sometimes you go through spells where you're just a magnet for the baseball. Back of the right calf, I believe. Left calf, excuse me.
He got hit on the forearm 2 games ago. He got hit right in the back yesterday. But fortunately has been able to play through all of them. So that'll get Sanchez to the plate. Sanchez reached on an infield hit in the second and then was thrown out trying to steal. Takes ball 1. Bassett has been efficient. He hasn't walked anybody. Hasn't been a walk in the game either way so far. And when he's on, he's not really a huge strikeout guy. He's not even, and his strikeout rate is even down this year from last year. He wants quick resolutions. He'd love to get a rollover on the second pitch and get a weak ground ball.
Yep, weak contact is kind of his MO. 3 pitches or less, kind of an old school type of mentality while also using kind of the new age technology. He can go back and talk pitching strategy and how quickly he wants to do certain things while also talking about his induced vert and all those type of things.
Fouled off left side, 1-2 on Sanchez.
But what a swing by Sanchez on the grand slam. Velocity close to him, the ability to get the barrel to baseball. I think that's a big sign for me. When I saw him take that swing and power that ball with that type of velocity in that location, that's a really good sign. He's typically found those type of velocity pitches close to him towards the label of the bat.
That was off Sandy Alcantara.
Yes, and to see him barreling up velocity, that's a really good sign. When this guy hits the ball on the screws, probably only a handful of guys in the big leagues that have this type of natural power. So it's all about finding that barrel and how he gets there.
You can see the bat speed is up in May. Bassett will get him. His second strikeout of the ball game. And it's on to the bottom of the 4th. Still 1-0 Blue Jays.
Well, there's Max Scherzer, who's been out for the last month with forearm, ankle, and thumb issues, and he is scheduled to throw a rehab outing with the AAA Buffalo Bisons on Sunday. His pitch count could be anywhere from 45 to 60, depending on how he feels. He'll most likely throw another rehab outing with Buffalo next Friday, seeking to increase workload. Meanwhile, Dylan Cease is also here in Baltimore. He's out with a hamstring issue, but he's said to be feeling better after playing catch the last couple of days. Blue Jays actually hopeful he'll throw a bullpen here in Baltimore this weekend. And an unfortunate update on Joe Mantiply, who's headed for arthroscopic left knee surgery after recently receiving a second opinion on his injury. We don't have an operation date or a recovery timeline as of yet, but it's just a cleanup procedure, and it isn't expected to be season-ending.
Arden, thank you. So unfortunate news for Mantiply, who had been doing a really nice job as a lefty out of the bullpen. That opens up more and longer of an opportunity for Adamaco, who has been very good since he has come to the big league. So hopefully a matter of weeks, or again, as John Schneider said, probably not season ending for Joe Mantiply. Well, let's start with Scherzer. So in Buffalo Sunday, and maybe another one next Friday. And if he can get up to 4 innings and 60 pitches there, you're starting to get in the zone of, okay, is he coming back to the big leagues after that? They want to get him as stretched out as they can. You don't want to burn the bullpen. So, but if all goes well, Mac's going to be 2 to 3 weeks away. Cease, if all goes well, maybe less than that. They were hoping for the minimum 15 days. And Shane Bieber is going to make his next start Sunday for Dunedin and is expected to get up to 3 innings there. So you've got 3 starting pitchers, Caleb, all at the same time, trying to ramp up and trying to get back.
Yeah, and they need length. There's only so many times you can have bullpen days. You don't want to run them into the ground because they've been such an integral part of keeping this team head above water. And when Scherzer's ready, you want him to be able to give you some length. He's got to be certain of that.
Whoa, play by Corbin. Reached around behind him, might not even have seen it go into his glove, and he makes a great play.
You know, he almost snagged one, I think, versus the Pirates not too long ago in his last start. And I think you, me, and 20,000 Oriole fans here all said, whoa, at the same time. Who said pitchers weren't athletes? Look at this. He doesn't even have to see where the ball's coming. Just reaches right around, not hit hard off the bat of Rutschman.
And now Pete Alonso lifts one in the air to shallow center. Varsho there quickly, 2 down. Well, you talked about there's only so many times you can do bullpen days. They're going to have some sort of a scenario tomorrow. We don't know who's starting. One name to keep an eye on, and he's not here with the club yet, is Chad Dallas. Chad Dallas did not pitch on his scheduled turn with Buffalo this week. So Dallas, who missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery, could be called up to make his major league debut tomorrow. Austin Voth is back with the team. He can give them some length. That's Connor Siebold sitting beside Braden Fisher. He was just acquired from Detroit. Chase Lee was optioned to Buffalo. There's a lot of churn going on right now, trying to keep fresh arms and get as many arms into the organization as you can, because you never know when you might need them. It'll be Trey Savage on Saturday, as this one is well hit. This is deep right center. This is gone. Kobe Mayo takes one out and ties the game.
Yeah, you mentioned his big-time power. Right around his first at-bat, long levers, and when he gets extended, it's going to really have some thump behind it. Corbin tries to throw a sinker, but it ends up middle down. See where Valenzuela is looking to be on the outer half. Start that on the corner, run it off, yanks it just a bit, starts off middle, runs just off the edge. And Mayo was going with the pitch the entire time.
Big power for Mayo. That was an even 400 feet. He's hit one 452 feet this year. So when he gets them, they go. It is now tied at 1, and here's Leody Taveras, his second at bat. Just to wrap up tomorrow night, John Schneider said the decision will be made at least in part on what happens tonight. Certainly Chad Dallas would be a possibility, but there are always contingency plans based on things happening. But I think John Schneider's used a whole lot more starting pitchers to this point of the season than he ever could have envisioned. And this is one of them. This guy's done a great job.
Yeah.
Where would they be without what Patrick Corbin has done this year?
10th start already. Seems like just yesterday he entered the organization, but he's kind of been a mainstay for them. Maybe not providing 6 or 7 innings every single night, but he doesn't blow up, and you can count on him. He's going to keep you in the game, and with where the state of the starters were, perfect sign.
He brought a 3.86 ERA into this game, and maybe his last one was his last start. His best one was his last start. 6 innings, just 1 run against the Pirates, didn't walk a batter, struck out a season high 7. Ground ball hit out to short. Jimenez gets rid of it quickly. They'll get Taveras, and that'll end the inning. The Mayo home run has tied the game at 1. On Friday, June 12th, the Blue Jays will bring some of Toronto's World Cup soccer excitement to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans into Rogers Center receive an Andres Gimenez replica soccer jersey. Take note of the later start time, 7:37. Get your tickets now at BlueJays.com. 1-1 top 5. Each team with a home run. Gimenez for the Blue Jays, Mayo for the Orioles, and here's Ernie Clement. Hit a fly ball to left on what appeared to be a hit and run attempt. And look at Bassett running that pitch clock all the way down. And how many times did we see that where he would try to use the pitch clock against the hitter a little bit, just freeze him, doing that to his buddy.
Yeah, he knows he's an anxious guy up there, wiggling that bat, ready to go.
Called strike of the knees, 1-1. Clement saw his 9-game hitting streak snap yesterday. Clock down to 1 again before Bassett releases, and this one will get past Mayo and into left field, and Clement makes the turn, digging for second, and in there in a head-first slide.
Well, hot shot down to third base. Mayo drawn in, thinking possibly Clement might lay a bunt down. Look how close he is. I mean, he's in on the cut, and watch your lips right off the bat of Clement. Watch how he gets out of the box. I mean, right out the gate. That's right at Mayo. Most guys freeze right there. When they freeze, they can't make it up on the back end, but because he was in stride, he's in there safely for a leadoff double.
And that leadoff double ties him with Matt Olson of the Braves for the major league lead with 18 doubles. And here's Gimenez, who homered his last time up. Might he be bunting, though, in this situation? He's popped it up, and it drops untouched. So now it's 0-1. And we see with this part of the order, John Schneider does this a fair bit. Gimenez pretty good at this. Also, do you think about maybe just giving him a chance to roll over on a ground ball and get him that way, maybe find a hole, or do you keep the bunt on?
Yeah, I think if you start, then you finish it. And quite honestly, tells me manager John Schneider really showing a lot of confidence in Valenzuela that he's going to put the ball in play off the barrel somewhere if they get him over to third base.
Does not square here, but it's fouled off out of play left side, and now it's 0-2. And to be fair, sometimes the player does it on his own too.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Yep, you're right. He could have squared right out the gate, seeing where Mayo was, seeing he was a little bit deep, maybe trying to just lay one down perfectly placed and beat it out.
Mayo's backed up now with a couple of strikes on Gimenez. Pulls it foul. And that's what he's trying to do right now, at least get him to third by pulling a ground ball. Those guys would have been teammates on Team USA at the WBC. Gunnar Henderson, Ernie Clement. I asked Ernie who he lockered near in the Team USA clubhouse, and I guess they kept the infielders together. He was alongside Gunnar Henderson, Bryce Terang, and Bobby Witt Jr. That was the group.
Very nice company. How many bats do you think he took from him and took with him? 2 each? 1 of each?
George Springer told me that Ernie brings so few of his own bats on a road trip that George takes some of his own and puts them in Ernie's bag. I said, how many does a bag hold? He said like 10 or 12.
Sure.
I said, how many does Ernie put in? He goes, 3.
Yeah.
He said, so I break a lot of bats, so I bring a bunch more of my own, just put them in Ernie's bag.
I mean, Ernie's pulling from everyone else's. I'm shocked he even has a bat bag. Good at bat by Gimenez right here, just battling. And these are tough at bats against crafty righties as a left-hander where you're trying to pull the baseball because you really want to protect that low and away backdoor breaking ball. But Bassett has that front hip sinker that if you're really trying to go down and away to pull, it leaves you vulnerable up and in. Bassett's trying to wear it out up there, but Gimenez is fouling him off.
He's already seen 6 pitches. He's fouled 5 of them off, including the bunt attempt. A look back by Bassett. And again, the 1-2, and it's a ground ball to second, and this will get the job done. Holiday throws out Jimenez, but he does advance Clement to third. Productive outs may not be the sexiest thing in the world, but they can be meaningful in a close game.
They win you baseball games.
Now the infield comes in for the Orioles, and it's up to Brandon Valenzuela. With a runner at third, 1 out. Can he get something through the infield or in the air to the outfield to bring in Clement?
Don't be in a rush, youngster. Wait him out.
You mean by swinging early in the count of borderline pitches?
If it's not the one you're looking for.
Yeah.
And this is the tendency as a young rookie. You want to get it over with. You see the infield in. You see all that green grass. You know what you want to do. But against a guy like Bassett, you got to be super selective, or else he's going to induce weak contact at one of those drawn-in infielders.
2-0. In his last 22 games, he has walked 11 times. And look at the numbers. He's hitting over 300 with an OPS over 900 in his last 22 games. This is big production. Playing about 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the time right now, hitting down in the order. Another good take, and it's 3-0. Take one.
I think you let him go. I think he is taking, but manager John Schneider, he knows his team better than any. I'd be taking.
High ball 4. Bassett walks him on 4 pitches. And now he's got to face Springer with runners at first and third. Springer has lined out and struck out. All business now, not sticking his tongue out at Bassett he did to begin the game. It's game on right now here in the middle innings. That'll miss a little bit inside, ball 1. Lots of different pitches, lots of different speeds.
Big hole right there on the right side. When George is really going well, he aims that way and just shoots one over there, especially in these situations.
Takes ball 2. And all of a sudden, Bassett has lost his feel for the strike zone. Lined out to second for out number 2. The runners get back. Might have cracked his bat on that pitch from the sounds of it.
Yep, I think it's a 2-seamer running in on the hands of Springer. And when you're in a 2-0 count, if you're going to make a pass at this, you just really got to try and find the barrel. It's boring in on him. Looks like middle. Looked to me like the way he swung at that pitch that he was trying to shoot that 4-hole. But when you get that ball moving in towards you and you're thinking to the opposite field, very easy pitch to jam yourself on, as we're going to have a meeting of the minds with the scientist, mad scientist Chris Bassett. Looks like he's leading it.
Yeah,
man.
He's doing the talking. Rutschman, Alonso, and the others are doing the listening right now. It's a conversation about Nathan Lucas, who's 1 for 2, had a base hit in the first. A strike taken as Valenzuela took about 4 hard steps to second and then put the brakes on.
A lot of times when you do this, you want to see who's covering in terms of who would cover shortstop or second base. Neither of them moved, which tells me they might not be putting that ball in the middle of the field if Valenzuela does go.
A ground ball to third. And to second to force Valenzuela and to retire the side as the Blue Jays get a leadoff double but can't score. It is still tied at 1 as we send it back to the studio with Jamie Campbell. Great food and great vibes all in one ticket. Outfield district tickets give fans general admission access to the ballpark and all 5 outfield neighborhoods. From fan favorite spaces like the Corona rooftop patio to the WestJet flight deck, fans can experience game day their way. Grab your tickets today at bluejays.com/outfield district. Crowds have been phenomenal this year. 40,000 plus every single game. Blue Jays starting a 7-game road trip here tonight. 4 here in Baltimore, then 3 down in Atlanta. Braves are having a great season. And Chris Bassett talking to Gunnar Henderson maybe about positioning. We all know that Chris Bassett likes to and had the green light to as a Blue Jay to move his infielders around based on what pitch he was going to throw to a hitter. Just a guess, but think it's something to do with that.
Oh yeah, he's always wanting them positioned because he's trying to force contact in a certain spot on a certain pitch. He doesn't want to look up, induce the contact he wants, and there not be a defender there.
Couple of strikes on Tyler O'Neill, who hit a ground ball to third in the 2nd inning. Bottom third of the order for Patrick Corbin, O'Neill, Jackson Holliday, and Blaze Alexander. .37-year-old Chris Bassett and 36-year-old Patrick Corbin. 2 vets having a good pitcher's duel tonight. That is a little bit low, and it's 2-2. That's a good pitch and a good take by O'Neill. Laying off a changeup that was just about 2-3 inches low. Foul it off, down he goes. Bounces right back up, but he's going to have to walk it off.
How many would you say? About 4 or 5 of these a night?
At least.
And it's just it's an out and around swing. Watch those hands go out and then kind of sweep back in to try and get inside the baseball. That creates that weird side spin running straight down.
I think he got himself in 2 spots. I think it hit his back leg and his front foot.
Double insult.
Back to work, the 2-2 again from Corbin, and that's strike 3 call. 4th strikeout of the night for the lefty.
There are times when hanging changeups are some of the better pitches because it locks you up as a hitter, and that's exactly what happened to O'Neill. Probably wants this low, but he leaves it up and just clips the top part of the zone.
Now Jackson Holliday. Grounds one off the mound up the middle, backhanded by Clement, and he got rid of it in a heartbeat to get him 2 down.
Oh, we saw Corbin make that backhanded attempt off of Rutschman. This one, watch him almost reach his glove out there and then spins around. Really quick transfer from Clement. That's what it's going to take. Good first move. Watch this little push through and then a super elite transfer in terms of glove to hand right over. As if it barely even touched the leather, just bam, right out of the hand.
Played almost entirely third base last year, playing almost exclusively second base this year. Now here's Alexander sending one to deep right center. Long run, Varsho still going, can't get there. A few feet beyond his reach, it'll skip up into the seats for a double.
You can see the look from Corbin almost in dismay. Watch Varsho right here in center field as Corbin releases this baseball. Just in and then starts to move back. This has been an issue for Varsho this year, just getting really good solid jumps. He misreads it, tries to make it up on the back end, and when you have to come in and then reroute towards the back, you rarely make it up. It's easier to go back than come in, but I believe that ball probably should have been caught.
So a runner at second, and now Taylor Ward is the batter. He's 1 for 2. two hardest hit balls by the Orioles have both been off from right-handed batters to right center field, the home run and the double. One ticks foul off his bat. It's 0-2. Alexander drove in 6 runs yesterday, and he has been red hot in May, sitting about 200 points higher in May than he did in April. Step off by Corbin to scare him back. Tied at 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. The Blue Jays out hitting the Orioles 4-3. And here's the 0-2. Taken low. I would guess for a pitcher this is about a perfect night. It's actually a little coolish right now, just a little breeze. It's great.
Sleeves, but you still have a little sweat going.
It's a perfect night to broadcast.
Yes.
Sleeves, but we got a little sweat going. Pitch in the dirt, and it'll be a wild pitch as it bounced up the third baseline, and by the time Valenzuela could get to it, Alexander takes third.
Well, it's a changeup that he spikes, and watch Valenzuela try and get over, and that ball hits off the heel of his mitt. If it doesn't hit off the heel of his mitt, it's going to suck right into his chest, but that ricochet allows that ball to skirt away from him too far. Runner advances.
Runner at third, 2 down, and a 2-2 pitch. Hit down the left field line, but he is well out in front of it. It's foul into the seats. The 2-2 again. Up and away, tried to get him to chase a fastball up there like he did to Alonso back in the first, but Ward wouldn't go after it. Corbin comes set. And the 3-2. It is ball 4 as Ward takes a walk. Again, one of the most patient hitters, as we told you. That's his 49th walk. The pitch was just off the outside corner, and that's going to bring Valenzuela to the mound and Gunnar Henderson to the plate. What do you think this mound visit's about?
Yeah, I think it's 2 things. I think you're going to first set up the first and third play. Where do you want to throw the baseball if they do take off? Tight game like this, you have 2 starting pitchers dealing in terms of output. They've done a really nice job. Sometimes you might try and steal and stop, steal a run, especially considering the matchup between Corbin and Henderson has leaned in favor of Corbin, and he's really had his way with them. You're just trying to continue to not mix and match your sequences. You've gotten him a couple times already. You want to make sure you're on the same page, make sure everybody knows how to start, finish, and get back into the count. Then there you go.
And the bullpen is up. Braden Fisher just getting loose right now, just in case. The Orioles threatening. There are 2 outs, but they've got runners on the corners in this tie game. And the always dangerous Gunnar Henderson 0 for 2 tonight. Runner goes. And there's no throw. Valenzuela most concerned with just making sure it doesn't get by him. So that'll be a stolen base for Ward.
Ball in the dirt, you see the runner go, but Valenzuela makes the right decision and to stay down and try and block that ball versus run the risk of it getting by him.
Now 2-0. Corbin got the first 2 outs this inning, but then the ground rule double for Alexander. A wild pitch to send him to third, a walk for Ward, then a stolen base. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. With left-handed batter at the plate. Alexander can get well off the bag at third. Challenge coming here from Valenzuela.
Pitch is called a ball. The catcher is challenging.
This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers.
Call's correct. Toronto has one challenge remaining.
And the call will stand. It is low for ball 3. The Blue Jays down to one challenge now. The 3-1. Lines softly to first, right at Guerrero. And Corbin again, like he did in the first, pitches out of trouble. This game is still tied. Well, after getting shut out last night, the Habs are up against it now. They need a win to stay alive. Carolina's up 3-1 right now in the Eastern Conference Final. It's Game 5 tomorrow. Coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet. Here it's 1-1 in Baltimore, going to the top of the 6th, and it'll be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading it off against Chris Bassett. Bassett threw 5 innings, 1 run on 4 hits, 1 walk, 1 hit batter, 2 strikeouts. He and Patrick Corbin, Caleb, kind of going toe-to-toe here tonight.
Working out of some jams and trouble.
Slow breaking ball down and away. The sweeper there from Bassett, and it's 2-0 on Vladdy. Varsho and Okamoto still to come. Not close, ball 3, and you can see Bassett frustrated with himself. And now activity in the Orioles pen. Left-hander Grant Wolfram is up. One of 2 lefties they have down there. 3-0 green light, and a ground ball up the middle, speared by Henderson, and he'll throw him out.
Catch every pitch with Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network and best 5G Plus network. Rogers, we got you.
So Guerrero retired after getting the count in his favor, 3-0, and here's Varsho, who's 0 for 2. One and one. Although these teams are both no doubt disappointed with where they are in the standings, and they both dealt with a ton of injuries, if you were to look at the standings, and again we understand it's still pretty early, the Blue Jays are tied for the final wild card spot right now, when the Orioles are only a game back. There are so many teams just kind of in the middle of things, not playing great. But obviously Tampa Bay's been great. Cleveland's gotten red hot atop the Central. The Yankees are having a good year. They're 12 games over 500. Nobody in the West is even 500 right now. Seattle is the leader in the West, a game under 500. And then you got a ton of teams. The White Sox, the Blue Jays, the A's, the Twins, the Orioles, the Rangers. They're all kind of just there. At some point, you know, somebody's going to get hot. You can't rely on other teams losing as much as they have. The Blue Jays, John Schneider and the Blue Jays just hoping they are one of those teams. And again, they have won 6 out of 8 coming in. The Orioles have won 5 out of 6 coming in. Both are playing better. A lot of similarities between these teams. Another ground ball. Okamoto retired. Quickly and quietly they go in the 6th. Lots of great giveaways coming your way this season, including Wednesday, June 10th. The first 15,000 fans at Rogers Center will receive a Dylan Cease bobblehead. Get your tickets now at BlueJays.com/promotions. If you weren't with us earlier for Arden's report, Dylan Cease feeling better, that mild hamstring strain. He is hoping to throw a bullpen here in Baltimore this weekend. Max Scherzer expected to go 45, maybe 50 pitches for Buffalo on Sunday. Shane Bieber hoping to go 3 innings Sunday in Dunedin. Tommy Nance will throw a bullpen at the PDC in Florida tomorrow. Alejandro Kirk will take batting practice on the field tomorrow in Florida. Addison Barger will start hitting tomorrow or the next day, although he's not throwing yet. Jimmy Garcia is going to throw another bullpen. That's moving slowly. That just hasn't been going anywhere, really, unfortunately. Hopefully Garcia can make his way back. The worst bit of news is that Joe Mantiply is going to have a scope on his knee. It's not season ending, but he'll be out a while. We walked into John Schneider's office, and without looking at a piece of paper or his phone or anything, he rattles off. And there's a base hit up the middle for Rutschman. Unfortunately for Schneider, he's had so much experience doing it this year. He rattles off all 8 guys or 9 guys, whatever it is, and the latest news on them without looking down at his phone or anything.
No, it's impressive. About a third of a roster that he's having to constantly update night in, night out.
And it looks like that's going to be all. Pete Alonso, who, as we told you earlier, has big career numbers off Corbin. Over 2 against him tonight, but has hit him hard in the past. That base hit by Rutschman is going to be the end of the night for Corbin. Pitched well, got out of a couple of jams here tonight. Braden Fisher's coming in. Welcome back to Rogers Blue Jays Baseball on Sportsnet. You're looking at Braden Fisher about to make his 29th appearance of the season. That will tie his good buddy Mason Fluharty for the Major League lead. These relievers continue to get worked hard for the Blue Jays. Fisher, big, strong guy, always willing to take the ball, and out there to face Pete Alonso. A strikeout and a fly ball to center for Alonso off Patrick Corbin tonight. And a breaking ball in for a strike. It's 0-1. A much different look for Alonso here. Big right-hander, big over-the-top curveball, lots of sliders as well. Just in. Remember, the Blue Jays are down to 1. Lost a challenge already. Fisher, a big part of the success of this bullpen. Swing and a miss. Slider in a good spot.
You can tell by some of those takes and some of those approaches by Alonso, he's just not seeing the slider and breaking ball well from Fisher. Just locate another one really well. Down and away right here, you might have him.
The 1-2. He does get him. A big chase there by Alonso on a slider that wasn't close.
Alonso typically really good breaking ball in the zone type of hitter, but you could just tell throughout that entire at bat he just wasn't comfortable. That ball's not even close. The front hip is flying like he's going to pull it. No chance to even make contact. Really well executed sequence right there by Fisher.
And Craig Albernas is going to make a move. He is bringing up Samuel Basayo, who's their #2 catcher, also DHs a lot, a young player, left-handed batter, big power. This is a good young hitter. As you can see for the numbers, an OPS over 800. Danger lurks when this guy steps into the box. Pete Walker is now on the mound. Adam Macko is up in the pen for the Blue Jays. Keep in mind, though, the 3-batter rule. You can't bring Macko in now. Fisher's only faced 1 batter. This is for another scenario that may develop later on in the inning.
Talk about Pinango swinging with bad intentions. I think Basayo is the same type for the Orioles. He really lets it rip up there.
He's just 21 years old in his 2nd year in the big leagues. Bounced in, blocked by Valenzuela. 1 on, 1 out in a tie game here in the bottom of the 6th at Camden Yards. And a ground ball to second. Clement to Jimenez and on to first in time. It might not have been exactly as clean as they wanted it to be, but with Basayo getting down the line, it was more than good enough.
Hits the brakes, feeds it over to Jimenez to turn the easy double play, escape the jam.
Back here in Baltimore, Chris Bassett is no longer in the game. He will not come back out to start the top of the 7th. I think he's got to be very pleased with how he fared against his old team.
Yep, super efficient. 80 pitches to get through 6 innings. Only 4 hits allowed. Weak contact was all over the place. Probably the only really barreled baseball was that solo homer off the bat of Jimenez. He just did what he does. Maneuver all around the zone, create weak contact, and set his team up in a tie game.
So the new pitcher for the Orioles is left-hander Grant Wolfram, who comes into the game about ready to make his 19th appearance of the season. And as you can see from the numbers, Caleb, both lefties and righties are getting to him pretty good right now.
Yeah, sinker, sweeper, 4-seam curve, slider from the former 18th round pick of the Texas Rangers. 6'7", 250, large frame. Looks like it's a kitchen sink type of approach for him, as Miles Straw is going to step in to pinch hit for the Blue Jays. And if you're Miles Straw here, knowing get a pitcher that's really been struggling, you got to really zone in. He likes to go early off the bench, see if he lets loose right out the gate.
You saw Weston Wilson now in at third. Straw pinch hitting for Jesus Sanchez. Pete Alonso has actually just backed up. He was about 3 steps in closer than that on Straw. Wilson even with a bag at third. As Straw flares it foul, 1-1. So Straw is hitting for Sanchez, and Sanchez has always struggled with left-handed pitching. He did last year. The Blue Jays knew that when they got him, and he's just 3 for 21, a 143 average. We have seen this move a lot from John Schneider. A strike, and it's 1-2. Straw got off to a very good start this year. He has cooled off recently. And actually, Miles is hitting righties better than lefties so far this year. Line drive, left field, base hit. And a big aggressive turn there by Straw to force the throw. He is aboard with a leadoff single.
Hanging breaking ball that Miles is really just able to get down underneath, meet the ball behind it. Tries to kind of bait Alexander in left field into maybe bobbling it, take off to second base.
That'll snap an 0 for 17 for Straw. And to bring up Ernie Clement, 1 for 2. He doubled his last time up. Shoots it foul down the right field line. He's looking down to Carlos Fabulous. It looked like earlier in the game they tried a hit and run with a 1-1 count. Clement up, Sanchez at first. 0-1 the count here. Pretty good hole on the right side. The second baseman Holiday shading towards the bag a little bit, but there's still a decent hole on the right side of the infield, as you can see. This one off the glove of Rutschman, but he hustles after it, and Straw will not advance. In the Orioles pen, right-hander Anthony Nunez has now gotten up. Up and away, 2-1 on Clement. Each team has had some chances here and there to take the lead. Just 9 hits in the game, 5-4 Blue Jays. High in the air to center field. It is playable for Taveras. Straw will tag, take a couple of steps, but cannot advance. And that is out number 1, and it'll bring up Andres Jimenez, who Caleb has done a really, really good thing on both sides of the ball tonight.
Yeah, when you're able to put a swing on a ball like that and then make a diving play right after it, you can almost check the boxes off as a very nice night at work. There's still some game left to play. That took full extension. He's been a star on both sides so far. RBI double in the gap might cap it off for Jimenez. He's done so well hanging in there left on left, giving up the inner part of the plate, really trying to work the middle of the field.
And they're really playing him around to the opposite field in the outfield. Another one gets away from Rutschman, but not that far. There is a big gap in right center and a lot of room down the right field line. Look at that gap in right center. He hits it towards T-Row Price. That's a triple. Three 3-0. Got to take one.
Yes,
right?
yes, left on left.
Yeah. Shows bunt maybe just to distract Wolfram a little bit, but Wolfram gets a strike in there. 3-1. Jeff Hoffman's up for the Blue Jays. There goes Straw, and it's hit right at the second baseman. Holiday will make the play on to first, but starting the runner likely kept the Blue Jays out of a double play.
No question about it. Ball hit pretty well off the bat of Jimenez right at Holiday. He would have easily just fielded this, flipped over to Henderson to roll the double play, but Straw was in motion. Now the Blue Jays have got to get a hit with runners in scoring position. Valenzuela going to flip over to the right side versus Wolfram here. Drew a really nice walk in the fifth, showing a lot of really nice plate discipline. He's found the barrel quite often over the last few weeks, and Blue Jays could really use a barrel ball somewhere in the outfield with Straw's speed.
The pitching coach for the Orioles, Drew French, is on the mound to have this conversation about Valenzuela. Valenzuela's hitting for a lower average from the right side, but actually has a higher OPS from this side. Part of it is his ability to take walks. He's taken more walks and fewer plate appearances, but his at-bats have really come along in recent weeks. You don't see him fooled very much. He's patient, and he generally makes good contact. Inside, ball one. Good cut at it, found it back, 1-1. Straw with a pinch hit single to begin the inning, took second on the ground ball off the bat of Jimenez. 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Which team is going to be able to come up with that clutch 2-out hit here tonight? That one off the glove of Rutschman, and it'll get to the backstop. And Straw aggressively to third. Rutschman is having a tough inning, and that one looked like it should have been caught. Probably a pass ball. I don't think that one bounced, did it?
No, it didn't. It's in the air. And watch Rutschman try and keep his glove and kind of pancake that underneath. His thumb has been down the entire game, this entire inning rather. He's got to turn that glove over, and it's probably been the 4th or 5th one that he's really tried to frying pan that one out of there. Will not turn the glove over.
And it is indeed a pass ball on Rutschman, so Straw to third. And now the 2-1. Valenzuela with a bouncer to short. Henderson makes the play, and the Blue Jays cannot take the lead here in the top of the 7th.
Well, Jeff Hoffman's season-long numbers here do not tell the full story, as over his last 5, he has been lights out, striking out half the batters he's faced while allowing only 3 singles. And here's why. Look at how he's adjusted his fastball and slider usage over his last 5 innings, throwing the slider 64% of the time. And, you know, this can feel like a departure for Hoffman, but it's actually a return to how he pitched with the Phillies in 2023 and 2024 when he broke out as an all-star, one of the game's best leverage relievers. He led with his slider each of those seasons, throwing it over 40% of the time. Even last year, Hoffman's slider was his best pitch. He just set it up differently, leaned more into his splitter. That necessitated throwing his fastball more often just to take advantage of the tunneling effect between his splitter and his fastball. But something clearly needed to change with Hoffman's season of late, and that's meant him returning to a slider-heavy report.
Arden, thank you. Miles Straw stays in the game in left. Nathan Lucas over to right. Bottom 7, tie game. And here's Leody Taveras, who takes outside, ball 1. Taveras tonight 0 for 2 on a pop out and a ground out. It's the 6, 7, 8 hitters in the Baltimore lineup coming up against Hoffman this inning. Swing and a miss. There's the slider, even throwing it more to lefties.
Always about the quality of the miss for me with Hoffman, especially with that slider. If the miss is underneath for a ball or on the edges, he's typically going to have a good one.
Could not get Chase on that slider. 2 balls and a strike. Colton Cowser is on deck. He's going to pinch hit for Tyler O'Neill. And then it'll be Jackson Holliday. So Hoffman's going to see 3 guys from the left side this inning. Outside, he falls behind 3-1. Trey Yesavage looking on alongside Dylan Cease and Tyler Heineman. Yesavage will be on the mound Saturday in the 3rd game of the series. On the corner, 3-2. No challenge on that one from Taveras, and the Orioles had both of their challenges, but he was not convinced that he should use it. Looked like that one might have been outside.
Trying to go back door, a safe spot. We know that honey hole down and in, typically open for lefties. Well executed pitch by Hoffman.
So now the 3-2. Got him. Chased a slider down and in, and he rings him up.
Really nice action on this pitch. It's got depth and it's got width. Starts on the outer half and then just darts down towards the back foot. Taveras not even close, swinging right over the top of it.
So now Colton Cowser will be the pinch hitter. Here comes Pete Walker again. Cowser hitting for O'Neill. If it sounds like they're booing, they're not. They're mooing because he's Cowser. One of their favorite things to do here, and they have been big fans of Colton Cowser. Yes, the last few days. He hit a walk-off home run against the Tigers Sunday and another one Monday against Tampa Bay. He hit walk-off homers on back-to-back days. Overall, it hasn't gone great for him. Was supposed to be the starting center fielder, kind of hit his way into part-time duty. It's been going better lately, though. That's outside and off the glove of Valenzuela, ball 1. And Jeff Hoffman, as Arden said, is leaning into the slider here tonight. Valenzuela pounding his mitt there. That one is in there, 1-1. Stays with the slider. Ground ball that stays fair. Guerrero's got it and will make the play. 3 unassisted.
Hoffman staying around the edges. That one's a split, and I just love the quality of where he's starting to locate, really limiting damage by staying out of the heart of the zone. See if you can finish it off. Continue to execute all around those edges with your arsenal.
Jackson Holliday, the batter, 0 for 2. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Off the outside edge, a ball and a strike. So 12 pitches in, he's only thrown one fastball. He's thrown 9 sliders, 2 splitters, 1 fastball.
He's really leaning into it, and he can use that slider as a sneak attack if he feels they're starting to get on it. But the Orioles batters have not shown they're really on it or seeing it really well.
Now he goes to the fastball. Fouled off, 2-2. Another very young player. Holliday, just 22 years of age. Hoffman sets. And the 2-2 pitch. Past a diving Clement. It's into right center for a base hit.
Well, Holliday does a nice job kind of sinking into those legs and getting down underneath and behind this slider. It's not poorly executed. It's not even a strike. With good depth, just out of the reach of Clement. He barreled that one really nicely.
And you saw there Ernie, because he knew it was a slider, kind of hopping to his left, to the pull side a little bit. But it was just hit to his right, and now Blaze Alexander is the batter. Keep an eye on Holliday at first. Holliday stole 17 bases last year. Now, he was caught 11 times, but the point is he can run, and John Schneider's talked about Hoffman's got to be a little bit quicker to the plate with the men on base. Teams have been running on him, and obviously 90 feet here could be big. Not going. High, ball 1.
Like Valenzuela might have been coming out of the crouch right there, maybe anticipating a stolen base, hybrid pitch out possibly.
There he goes. Swing and a miss. Throw down. And it is not in time. Was Ernie pointing into the dugout there, saying they should have a look? Maybe not. It is a stolen base, at least for now, for Holliday, his 3rd on the season, and there will be no challenge.
Yeah, Valenzuela does everything he can. Probably the hardest ball to throw on that ball that's down. It's right on the money. But Holliday, with his speed and his jump, he's just there early enough.
And never came off the bag. Ernie kept the tag on him, but Holliday never came off the bag. 1-1 the count on Alexander. Well, if they'd been watching yesterday's game, they'd have seen Hoffman get somebody out there with an inside move. They wouldn't be booing so loud. It was a wild game yesterday with the Marlins.
5-4.
They were 5 for 9 stealing bases. Did you ever catch in a game, a major league game, where a team tried to steal 9 bases?
4 was my biggest one, I believe. I caught 4 stealing.
You caught 4.
But
Tyler Heineman
9 attempts
yesterday.
though.
Yeah.
That's aggressive.
A long look back at the 1-2, down and away. Hoffman got the first 2, then the base hit by Holliday. And now a man in scoring position with a 2-2 count on Alexander. If you lose him, Taylor Ward, the leadoff man, comes up. Fastball that is poked foul. You can't sit slider, I guess, with 2 strikes, but it kind of looked like he was thinking slider.
Just an emergency hack late. If that pitch was close to him, probably would have induced weak contact. But when that ball's further away from you, you can lose your lower half and still just kind of flick your hands at it. Buy yourself another one.
So again, the 2-2 bounced in, and now it's full. Mako is up again. That would be if it got to Gunnar Henderson, but he's a couple of batters away. Now John Schneider, I think, wants to. Well, he's having a conversation here with the home plate umpire, Tyler Jones. Maybe Vladdy needs a new pitch count. Looks like Guerrero's pitch count, or maybe his glove. That's the last thing you want.
No. Well, Dan, you probably remember there maybe 2-3 years ago, he went through like 3 webs, and now would not be a time for that ball to go right through the webbing of his mitt. Good on Vladdy for picking that up. What, 5-6 pitches into an at-bat? It's not like it just happened after an out was recorded. That was an issue, what was it, a couple years ago?
Yeah. 2 or 3 times, you're right, a ball went right through the webbing of his mitt. Here's the backup. Pretty fancy looking backup.
Colorful. Looks like an ice cream cone or something.
As long as the
just
ball can't get through there.
Because you know this ball's going to be hit to him, right? That's how this works. I don't like the fact that he's still trying to break it in, it seems.
Looks a little too shiny.
Look at him, look.
You.
Oh, no. Okay, maybe a fly ball to center. We'll just take that. While one of the trainers laces the other one up. It's pretty, though.
It's a full count on Alexander with a runner at second and 2 down. Swung on and missed. He got him. And Hoffman went back to that slider to strike out Alexander, and this game is still tied. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie and Chris. Fans, don't miss the retro Domer hat giveaway. June 24th, you can take home a vintage style cap featuring Domer the Turtle, the beloved Sky Dome mascot. Buy your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Well, it is a tight one here at Camden Yards. First meeting of the season between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Andres Jimenez has homered for the Blue Jays. Kobe Mayo homered for the Orioles. It's tied at 1 going to the 8th, and here's right-hander Anthony Nunez. 26th appearance of the season, got off to a great start, a bit bumpier lately for him as he misses way inside to George Springer. Cowser remains in the game in right field. Inside corner with a breaking ball, 1-1. Nunez has actually gotten 3 saves for the Orioles. Ryan Helsley's on the IL. And both Nunez and another reliever, Rico Garcia, have each been closing at times.
That's the pitch right there. That sweeper, around 60% of the time he's throwing that to right-handed batters. Looks straight, very late, tight action, but moving horizontally.
Springer 0 for 3 tonight. Strikeout and a couple of lineouts. Off the mask of Tyler Jones, the umpire, who appears to be all right. It's 2-2 now on Springer. In the Blue Jay pen, you know who that is. That's Tyler Rogers.
The balance right there. Did you see that balance? Look at that.
Well hit ball, deep left center field, and off the base of the wall. Springer on his way to second and in there with a leadoff double.
We've seen the last handful of games, Springer starting to really find the barrel. It's exactly what happens on this sweeper. It doesn't get to the outer half. It kind of hangs up there, middle, out, over, and he punishes it, puts a good swing on it, barrels it. 103 off the bat. Good to see Springer's direction, staying in the middle part of the field off of breaking balls. That's a really good sign for him and the Blue Jays.
So now can they execute? Here's Nathan Lucas. They are in on the corners. He squares and he gets it down. Rutschman on to first just in time to get him. The Lucas sacrifice advances Springer to third. 2-4 on the putout for the Orioles, and the go-ahead run is 90 feet away.
Squares early, gets it off the end of the bat, forces Rutschman to get out there, no play at third base.
And they're going to put Guerrero on. Runner at third, one out. An intentional walk to Guerrero, and that'll bring up Varsho. Varsho tonight 0 for 3. Wilson even with a bag at third. Alonso holding on Guerrero.
The Arsenal switches for Nunez, more fastball changeup to lefties. See if Varsho can stay on one of these changeups moving down in a way that Nunez is going to try and induce a double play with.
Varsho talks about, I'm always just trying to hit a ground ball to the pitcher, which is not actually what he's trying to do,
Sure.
but it keeps him in good habits. Should he just be thinking big part of the field here?
Yep, right back up the box. Hard up the box.
Grounded weakly but foul, and it's 1-1. Guerrero took a couple of big hard steps and then put the brakes on. I don't think they would, but do you think they would?
Well, we've seen this from the Jays this year. First and third, if you take off, you force the defense to make a move and put the ball on the inner part, as it looks like they're going to bring Holiday in from second base.
Outside, ball 2.
Looks like Baltimore might be playing a bit of a hybrid depending on the speed of the ball. If it's short, the infielders are in a position where they could potentially come home if they don't feel like they could turn two with the speed of Varsho. Dealer's choice in the middle of the infield.
Just off the outside edge. Now 3-1 on Varsho. And Cameron Weston, just promoted to the big leagues today, is up in the Baltimore pen. Kaz Okamoto, by the way, is the on-deck hitter for the Blue Jays. The 3-1 pitch, down and away, and that is going to load them up. And the more the merrier, but now you bring up a right-handed batter who is a definite double play candidate if he hits the ball on the ground in Okamoto. Drew French, the pitching coach, on his way out for a conversation with Nunez.
The manager John Schneider talking about Okamoto today before the game, just how he loved that direction on the homer. And that is exactly what this situation calls for. It's going to be really tempting to get out and around one of these sweepers from Nunez, but if you're Okamoto, you know a deep fly ball will get it done, and to give yourself the best chance of that, I love thinking center field, and I love that for his direction, to keep him out and around and over the top to get a rollover to the left side. If he can think dead center field, keep that barrel moving through and behind the baseball, if he does get it in the air with his power, you never know. It could eventually go out, but stay disciplined here, stay right back up the box.
Another opportunity here for the Blue Jays. Could not get anybody in the seventh. Got a runner to third, couldn't get him home. They've got the bases loaded, one out here in the eighth. Strike one call to Okamoto. Alonso again is playing in tight. He's way off the line, but in on the grass. On the pull side, Wilson at third is just a little behind the bag. Middle infielders at double play depth. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. The 0-2. Popped up, foul, and headed for the seats behind the plate. A leadoff double by Springer, a Lucas sacrifice, an intentional walk to Guerrero, and then a walk to Varsho to load him. And again, the 0-2 pitch, and he got him down and away with that sweeper for out number 2. And here comes Yohendrick Pinango, Caleb, to pinch hit for Miles Straw.
I love this move. Pinango been swinging a nice bat. Seems to thrive under the pressures, not in a rush. Going to be interesting to see how he handles this situation. They just need a base hit. He's been doing such a good job of keeping that ball low and on a line somewhere. See if he can put together a quality AB.
The rookie is up in a big-time spot here in the 8th inning, trying to snap the tie. You know, it's interesting. I don't know if this is what's going on. Each team is down to 1 mound visit right now. You almost always see somebody come out and do a mound visit. I guess that would have been the second one, though. French has already been out this inning, right? Yeah, so French could not come out here to give a scouting report to Nunez on Pinango. That's high, and it's a ball and a strike. The Blue Jays tonight 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. The Orioles are the same. Each team has had 2 or 3 innings where they have really had a good opportunity but have not been able to come through. Good take. That's a challenge coming here from Rutschman.
Pitch is called a ball. The catcher is challenging.
It's low.
Pitch is the ball. Baltimore has 1 challenge remaining.
Orioles down to 1, and it's 2-1 on Pinango. He's done a nice job on changeups this year, taking close pitches.
So many lefties will release on that pitch, roll it over to the second baseman. Really solid take.
Takes again, and it's 3-1. Got to shrink your zone even further here.
Yeah, and you might shrink what you're looking for. Hasn't been able to really find the zone with the breaking balls. Do you just sit dead red heater, be ready for that?
Outside, ball 4, and another challenge from Rutschman.
Pitch is called a ball. The catcher is challenging.
And this one is a ball as well.
Close confirmed. Baltimore is out of challengers.
So Rutschman goes 0 for 2 in the at-bat. The Orioles are out of challenges. It's ball 4, and the Blue Jays have the lead.
It's just going to look like a walk on the scorecard, but what a tremendous plate appearance by Pinango. Could have easily released on any of those. Showed tremendous poise and patience and grace under pressure.
2-1 Blue Jays. Here's Ernie Clement. That's just high, ball 1. Clement tonight 1 for 3, had the double back in the 5th. Guerrero's now at 3rd, Varsho at 2nd, and Pinango at 1st. A ball and a strike on Clement. Swung on and missed. 1-2. When he puts that sweeper where he wants to, you can see how it can be effective.
Late, tight action. Very difficult to pick up.
He went, and he gets him. But the Blue Jays take the lead on a bases-loaded walk, and it's 2-1 going to the bottom of the 8th. Junior J is presented by your Ontario Honda dealers. Returns to Rogers Center on Sunday, June 7th, and the fun will start outside. The Junior J's outdoor program begins at 10:30 in the morning and runs right up until first pitch. Arrive early for games, inflatables, mascot meet and greets, and live performers. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/promotions. Well, the offense has been tough to come by here tonight, but the Blue Jays just took the lead on a bases-loaded walk. A very, very good plate appearance from Yohendrick Pinango. And now here's Tyler Rogers to face the top of the order. Ward, Henderson, and Rutschman in a one-run game. And the first pitch lined up the middle, a base hit. And had there been one moment more, I was going to ask you, as we get another look at this base hit, it was just yesterday when John Schneider went to Varland in the 8th with kind of the meat of the order for the Marlins coming up. But tonight the option is Rogers saving Varland for the 9th. And it's not just top, middle, bottom. It can be how you think specific hitters match up with specific pitchers as well. Here's Henderson. But if you had asked me to guess before the fact, I think I would have guessed Varland here in the 8th.
Just because of the names on the back of the jerseys, you think this might be their best chance at putting something together.
And Louis already gotten up. The earliest he could come in is Alonso. Rogers has to face 3 batters. So maybe it was all about Alonso into Basayo, the big power in the middle of the order.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Rogers out in front of 1-2 on Henderson, looking for a ground ball. Just off the corner, 2-2. The lead by Ward, and the pitch outside again. Now 3-2. And do they start the runner over there at first? You've got Rutschman on deck. Rogers not a big strikeout guy. Ward is not going, and Henderson fouls it off. Again, and another foul off by Henderson.
7 straight sinkers to Gunnar, really trying to hammer that down and away portion, pardon me, of the zone.
Does not use the slider much to lefties. Little flare, drops foul. I think he's up around 85% sinkers to the. He's a sinker slider guy, and it's a very high percentage of sinkers to the lefties. Mixes it up more to the righties.
Just moves it around, down and away, up and in, creating different looks, creating different feels from that low arm slot.
Another 3-2 pitch and another foul ball. Couple of right-handers up in the Orioles pen. Cameron Weston and Rico Garcia. Garcia would be the man if they tie or take the lead. Once again the 3-2, and once again it is fouled off.
10 pitches.
10 pitches, 10 sinkers.
Continues to execute. Not giving in to the middle part of the zone.
Henderson has fouled off the last 5. 3-2 again, and he got him. He went to the first slider of the at-bat, and he strikes out Henderson.
Finally got him off the barrel, was wearing him out, up and in, off the end of the bat, up and in, and then just totally pulled the string on the backdoor slider. Love this pitch. Just maximum curvature, ball, finishes as a strike.
Here's Adley Rutschman. That's a called strike, and it's 0-1. Just a hair outside. The Blue Jays do have one challenge remaining. Valenzuela will not use it there, and it did look to be a bit off the plate. Ground ball left side. Okamoto to second, one on to first, but not in time. They do get the lead runner, though. It's a fielder's choice. Man at first, 2 down. And let's see what John Schneider's decision is. Here comes Pete Alonso. Alonso has some experience against Rogers, a fair bit of it, both longtime National Leaguers. And Alonso is 3 for 7 with a couple of doubles against him. But it looks like Rogers is staying. Outside, ball 1. Rutschman a short lead as Alonso fouls it back to even it up at a ball and a strike. He always looks dangerous. Unless you really fool him, he always really looks dangerous up there.
Swings with intent.
Yep.
Big body.
Longtime Met signed a 5-year deal in the offseason to come to Baltimore. Valenzuela asked for the appeal. Didn't go, says Clint Vondrak, and it's 2-1. Two-1 Blue Jays, bottom 8. Rogers a peak. And the pitch. Little bit in, ball 3. And it's hit off of Rogers to Clement. The throw to first. Got him! Somehow they got the out there. Everybody looking into the Baltimore dugout to see if a challenge is coming. And they are. The Orioles will challenge the out at first base.
Right off the foot of Rogers, it projects it straight up, and Ernie's going back behind second base. He's got to really get rid of it, throwing off the backside. Doesn't get a ton on it because look at his weight moving backwards. If he tries to plant and go to first, might not get him. Looks like the Orioles might have a case here. Looks like the foot's on.
Meanwhile, they are looking at Rogers out on the field. Didn't Rogers get hit yesterday as well? He has gotten hit a bunch of times. Blue Jay pitchers have gotten hit a bunch of times. And hopefully he is okay. They cannot withstand many more injuries. Here's the verdict.
The field is overturned. The runner's safe. Baltimore retains their challenge.
So that'll be a base hit. The Orioles retain their challenge. They're out of ABS challenges, but they retain their challenge. Rogers is coming off the field. Varland is coming in. The Sportsnet Plus City TV Plus bundle has all the heavy hitters with live Blue Jays and MLB games, plus hit shows from the biggest networks in TV. Bundle today at sportsnetplus.ca. Well, hopefully Tyler Rogers is okay. He might have been coming out of the game anyways after that at bat. We will have to wait until after the game when undoubtedly John Schneider will be asked about it. There are runners at first and second with 2 outs. It is 2-1 Blue Jays, and Louis Varland is on the mound.
27th game of the season. You can see the averages there very low, less than a 1 earned run average. He has just been absolutely nails, almost like he was built for this type of spot in games. His pedal to the metal. He sees red out there, and he's going to need it in a potential 4-out save opportunity for the Jays.
Pitched a scoreless inning yesterday through 16 pitches. Here is Weston Wilson, the third baseman. He's in the 5 spot. Basayo hit for Mayo, and then Wilson came in to play third base. So Basayo out of the game. First and second, 2 down, and a first pitch chopper foul into the Blue Jays dugout. It's 0-1. Dylan Cease with a pretty good effort to make a play on that ball. Varland has been about as good as any reliever in baseball this year. Fastball in there for a strike. Throw down. Got him. Brandon Valenzuela throws behind the runner at first. Again, the Orioles considering whether or not they will challenge. They just had a successful one, but they won't challenge here. Alonso is picked off by Brandon Valenzuela for the 3rd out in the bottom of the 8th.
Preset play with Vladdy. Watch him sneak in there before the play. This was called. This is a great throw from Valenzuela. Vladdy is pumped to escape this big jam. What a big play by the youngster behind the plate.
Right-hander Cameron Weston is on the mound for the Orioles. They just called him up today, and this is a major league debut. And as you can see, the numbers at AAA not great, although he dominated righties down there. The Orioles have played a lot of baseball lately. They had a doubleheader Sunday. They had a 13-inning game Monday. They've had to churn a little bit in their bullpen, get some fresh arms. And obviously, they're pretty thin right now. It's a 1-run game. You saw Rico Garcia was up. But obviously the decision, Caleb, was made. They're only bringing Garcia in if they tie or take the lead. Otherwise, they're going to give the ball to a guy who's making his major league debut.
Obviously a position where they are, like you just said, thin down there. And first-year Oriole manager Craig Almenaz really playing that long game. Weston's on the far first base side of the rubber with unique kind of spin fire from the hip type of motion. Stepping away from you, throwing a cross body.
He gets Andres Jimenez. He strikes out the first batter he faces in the big leagues.
Those type of arm slots usually create tight, late depth on breaking balls, and that's exactly what it was. Right to the back foot of Jimenez for his first strikeout of his career in the big leagues.
Now Brandon Valenzuela, who had himself a moment in the bottom of the 8th. Firing down to first to get Pete Alonso, who hit straight too far from the bag. At the plate, he's 0 for 2 with a walk. Foul back, 0-2.
It takes a lot of guts, Dan, to run that play too. That part of the game, you got a runner at second base. You throw that thing into right field, it's possible they score all the way around. That's a veteran play. You're probably getting a signal from Vladdy, but to be able to execute it under pressure like that shows a lot of grit.
We have seen young Valenzuela has not lacked for confidence from the moment he got to the big leagues. Vladdy's probably still talking about it.
And credit Vladdy for calling it. That's a lot of trust that you put in the hands of the catcher.
So that means Weston Wilson will be at the plate again to begin the bottom of the 9th. It'll be Wilson, Leody Taveras, and Colton Cowser, the 5, 6, 7 hitters coming up for the Orioles. Full count now on Valenzuela. Springer next. It was Springer's double that got it all started in the 8th inning. He eventually came in on a bases loaded walk to Piñango. And that's the difference in the game right now. Another foul off by Valenzuela. Making sure he didn't chip the bat. First of 4 here at Camden Yards. The Blue Jays have won 6 of their last 8. Another close ball game. This team seems to play a lot of them. Fouled off again. And he works him for a walk. We have seen several of these in the last couple of weeks. Long at bats, multiple foul balls, and a good take for ball 4.
Then to go right back to that 8th inning. Guerrero Jr.'s intentionally walking them. Varsho doesn't give in, passes the baton, eventually gets to Pinyango. What a great at-bat. These are the types of don't rush it at-bats we saw multiple times last year in that very successful season. Really making these pitchers work and get them in the zone. And that's when the Blue Jays become very, very dangerous, because they force them into their honey hole, and then we've heard it over and over and over. Get your best swing off. Get after it. But if you don't force them in the zone, you're hitting that ball off the end of the bat.
At the knees, 1-1. Springer 1 for 4 on the night. In this at bat with Weston on the mound, a huge hole on the right side. Look where Holliday, the second baseman, is. He's as much up the middle as the rules allow. Speaking of good walks, Pinyango took one earlier. Straw pinch hit for Sanchez, got a base hit. Then Pinyango an inning later pinch hit for Straw and worked a bases loaded walk. The two teams at the top of the division, the Yankees and the Rays, both idle today. The Red Sox were beaten by the Braves 10-2. Grounded sharply to short. Henderson, Holliday to Alonso for the double play. It's on to the bottom of the 9th with the Blue Jays up by 1. Lots going on. Thanks, guys. Bottom of the 9th. 2-1 Blue Jays here. They'll be right back at it tomorrow. Blue Jays Central at 6:30 Eastern time. First pitch at 7:05. It'll be the left-hander Trevor Rogers for the Orioles. TBD for the Blue Jays. Maybe that's announced after the game tonight. That'll be in the Dylan C spot. Will they bring somebody up from Buffalo? Somebody who's on the roster already? We will find out. First things first. Louis Varland trying to get 3 more outs. So Weston Wilson is back up there. He was at bat when Alonso was picked off to end the 8th. And takes one to the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. Wilson, Leody Taveras, a switch hitter, and then the left-hand hitting Colton Cowser. Strike 2. The Orioles do not have any ABS challenges remaining. The Blue Jays have 1, so if there's anything borderline, Valenzuela can certainly challenge. Remember, Rutschman lost both in the same plate appearance. Curveball down and away. Another one in the dirt. 2-2. Lucas coming over near the line and actually into foul territory. No, the call is fair. He was in foul territory, but the ball was fair, said first base ump Clint Vondrak. Either way, it's out number 1. Now Leody Taveras. He's 0 for 3. Oh, and 1 the count. Base hit through the right side. Got a piece of that changeup and rolled it into right. And here comes Cowser. You can hear them mooing already. And remember, we told you not 1 but 2 walk-off home runs in the last week for Colton Cowser. There's part of his fan club.
You got to be careful. There's quite a bit of danger in this bat. I like the kind of keep away approach. Would love to see them force him to the big part of the park on the left side. Stay away from the pull side. Anything nestling middle down to Cowser is really that spot that he likes to go and jump ship to the pull side. Pretty quick on the inner lane. I like keep away with the hard stuff and then short underneath late.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. What a good spot for the changeup.
What a weapon that pitch has been for Varland. Just totally opened up his arsenal against left-handed batters. Cowser's going to use his timeout. Now he can go up doors, up top, repeat the changeup under. He's just got so many options once you take the hitter's eyes on the outer part of that plate with soft stuff.
Ground ball to second. Not hit hard. There's 1, and that's all they will get, forcing the lead runner. Well, while we have a moment, let's take you back to the last play, the base hit by Taveras, and keep an eye on Ernie Clement. Dives for it and just kind of grabs that right side a little bit.
He's been playing a lot of baseball.
Yes. Man, is this team beat up. 2 down, and here's Jackson Holliday, and he hits a ground ball to Guerrero. He'll take it to the bag, and the Blue Jays will win it. Louis Varland gets the job done in the 9th inning. Jimenez with the home run, the big pickoff at first in the 8th, the Pinyango bases loaded walk. A lot of little things adding up to a hard-fought victory here tonight.
Yeah, they did so many things right, and there was not a lot of free passes given out there. They played a tight baseball game. The pitching showed up as it has over the last several weeks, just been the backbone for this team. I thought Corbin getting out of the first inning, escaping that jam, K-ing Alonso and K-ing Mayo was absolutely huge. Just set the tone for this entire game. The bullpen was fantastic, and they were able to really grind it out in that 8th inning and put together a really solid 8th to push 1 run across.
They've won 3 in a row. They've won 7 out of 9, and tomorrow they will take the field trying to get back to the 500 mark for the first time in a while. They beat the Orioles 2-1 tonight. It is time now for Sportsnet Central, presented by KFC. Here are Martine and Jesse.